Hi everyone. How is everyone doing? We are still discussing the issue of race relations and the false claims that white South Africans are being persecuted and that there's a genocide in South Africa. One issue that I've been meaning to respond to is the claim that there are 142 race laws in South Africa, or 142 or 144, depending on who you are talking to. Is it true that there are 140 race laws in South Africa? The answer is no. Absolutely false. There is. So, where do people get this claim from? They get it from the South African Institute of Race Relations, which put together an index that is called the Race Law Index. And they have this catalog of laws, which they call race laws or racialized laws, and is put together by another extreme right winger, Martin van Staden, who has very interesting views on a lot of issues. But let me just say that it's just false. When you go through a list of these laws that they have, there are three categories of laws. There are laws that were instituted during the apartheid years, which were racial in their scope, and those laws have now been repealed. Number one, and then you have laws that were instituted during apartheid times and got amended during the democratic dispensation. And then you have laws that were instituted post 94. So those are the three categories of laws that they have. And so if you go looking at these three categories of laws, there will be two further categories of laws under that. There will be restitution and redress or affirmative action based laws, and then there will be laws that have nothing to do with race at all, but because they have race mentioned, these people are calling it race laws. So what these people have done is that they've taken any law in South Africa that mentions race in any way, and they've called it a race law. One of the examples, for instance, is the law, the Promotion of Equality and Prevention of Unfair Discrimination Act of 2000. Promotion of Equality and Prevention of Unfair Discrimination Act. This law is listed in this index as a race law. How? I don't know. That's when I realized that when I found laws like this being listed as a race law, that's when I realized that this is not a serious list. That these people are not honest people. Because this law, if you are labeling this law to be a race law or a racial law, it's similar to saying that the Human Rights Act of 1968 in the United States is a race law because it has race written in the legislation. But the reason why the Human Rights Act of 1968 was instituted was to prevent discrimination on the basis of race. So then to say that because race is mentioned in this law, this makes it a race law. That's, I mean, if we let's dispense with this sophistry and dishonesty that these people are employing in these debates. Because then if we are to be led that the Promotion of Equality and Prevention of Unfair Discrimination Act is a race law, a law that was put in place in South Africa, especially to prevent a discrimination that had happened in the past, but to codify it into law to say no one can be discriminated against. And here, this law is just saying no one can be discriminated based on race, religion, gender, sexual orientation, or any other characteristics, or so say for instance immutable characteristics, and then you are saying that this is a race law. That's, I would say that not only are you being dishonest, you are lying to people. And then the question for me is that if their case is so strong, why are they lying to people? Why are they lying to people? Because if the list that they had here only had a list of laws that mentioned in some way some sort of redress, race-based redress and restitution and affirmative action, like for instance PEE, then we can have an honest discussion and debate about those kind of laws. But if you're going to include laws like this and include laws like the Marriage Act, which the only reason why there is race mentioned in the act of the Marriage Act is to say that anyone, regardless of race, can marry whoever they want to marry. And it was amending the law in the past that said that only people of the same race can get married. And then they are saying because race is mentioned in this law, this makes this law a race law. But also, it's not just that. It's also the fact that when you argue with these people online, they mention that, 140 laws, race laws. But it doesn't seem as if to me that these people have actually even gone to the website and checked these laws and see if the claims that are made are true. There's a laziness that comes with this. Just because these people are making claims, people are believing them. I'm talking about like white South Africans. And this issue of 140 race laws has been this like imagined factual basis that there is discrimination of white people in South Africa. Folks, can you please at the very least have some effort in your arguments? Put some effort, put some thought into it, and do some homework. It can't be just because some leading white dude who has a PhD said something to you, you just want to believe them. It can't be the case. You need to do your own homework. You need to verify every claim that is being made. And now if you are making claims that you haven't verified yourself, it makes me wonder that what else do you know that is actually not so? Because you argue with these people and they are so strong in their convictions that what they know is true. And the problem is not what they don't know. The problem are the things that they know that aren't so. Like this issue of 140 race laws. And to be sure, there is at least 40 plus or minus approximately laws in South Africa that are some of them are purely just for affirmative action, and it's like the BE law, and some of them they were amended to say that to add affirmative action steps into them. And those laws aren't more than, let's just say, not more than 45 to 50. And we can have an argument and a debate and about fairness and effectiveness of those laws. But now, if you did not limit your discussion on those laws, but then you added other laws that have nothing to do with race, other than to say you can't discrimination on the basis of race, then we are already starting off on a dishonest footing, which already tells me that you are not a good faith actor. And so then how do you argue or debate with people who are consistently showing themselves to be bad faith actors or constantly showing themselves to be dishonest? So that's really what I wanted to discuss about. Because I've been hearing a lot about this. I mean, I've seen comments on my videos about these 140 race laws, and then I'll ask people whenever they mention, okay, just give me 5 of those laws, and none of these people were able to cite for me five of those race laws that they were talking about. It was only a friend of mine who forwarded me this link yesterday, after he also mentioned that this 140 race laws thing. And then I went through the list diligently, as I would always do whenever someone, because I can't come here and make public statements about things that I haven't verified and checked and rechecked. And then the question for me is that why are you writing comments on Facebook or YouTube or TikTok or Instagram about 140 race laws while you haven't gone to the website yourself and verified that these laws are actually race laws? Why haven't you done that? And why are you basing your arguments on things that you have not checked yourself? This is the problem with a lot of debates on important issues, where people have these strong feelings about things that they have not verified. Just because someone that they love and trust and they respect, who they agree with, made a statement, doesn't make it true. Yeah, so, but with that being said, I mean, if the debate is about the issue of affirmative action laws, which is probably 40 plus or minus laws, there's affirmative action in the United States of America. There's affirmative action in Australia. There's affirmative action in the UK. There's affirmative action in every country in the West. And to be sure, there are strong and deep debates and sometimes ugly debates about affirmative action in all of these countries. But to say so then are white people in these nations, all of these nations, supposed to be refugees because all of these countries that are mentioned, including the United States of America, have affirmative action codified in their laws? Are these nations also persecuting and discriminating against white people to the point that their white people deserve to be refugees? Is that what we're saying? Because if the basis, because we know that the genocide argument has been clearly proven to be a bullshit argument. Are we saying that based on these 40 verified affirmative based or redress laws, based on this, white South Africans deserve to be refugees? Therefore, does that mean that also white British people are discriminated against and they can be refugees? White Americans are also discriminated against in America, then they deserve to be refugees? Is that what we are saying? Because if you're saying you are running away from persecution and you go into a country that does the same thing that you are running away from, please explain that logic to me. Because there is affirmative action in the United States. The United States has had affirmative action longer than South Africa has been free. Let me repeat that to you. The United States of America has had affirmative action longer than the years that South Africa has been free. And it's only now that affirmative action with regards to college admissions is being phased out because of a court ruling, of a Supreme Court ruling last year. So that kind of affirmative action now is being phased out. But it's been ongoing for at least 50 plus years. So if you're saying that you are running away from South Africa because you are being persecuted because of affirmative action, and you are going to a country that has had affirmative action for 50 plus years, please explain that logic to me. Because we can discuss and debate affirmative action, but I'm just talking about the rationality and the consistency and the coherency of the argument that because of affirmative action laws, you deserve to be a refugee, and you are going to a country that has had affirmative action for 50 plus years. Please explain that to me like I'm a 2-year-old. And also, guys, can you please verify the claims that you are relying on when you're relying on something in an argument? Verify it. Just verify it. Go onto the website, check the sources, check the citations, references, bibliography, check everything before you make a fool of yourself. Just how hard it is to verify something before you rely on it. Because if you are saying to me that there are 140 race laws in South Africa, and you including in that race law category the Marriage Act of South Africa, the Promotion of Equality and Prevention of Unfair Discrimination Act of the year 2000, already that already tells me that you are not a serious person. I can't take you seriously. Because you are not taking this thing seriously enough to even verify the arguments that you are relying on. Which also tells me that you are not taking me seriously. Because if you are coming to me with arguments that are BS arguments, it means that you are not taking me seriously. and you are not taking yourself seriously, which means that you are not a good faith actor. Yeah, so folks, can we just do better? Can we do better? I'm gonna link the index of these laws in the comments below, for your own perusal in your own time. And then let me know what you think in the comments below. Cheers.